Assalamu alaikum, brothers. We apologize for the delay. Usually it starts at 7, inshallah, so we'll come back. It's 7 o'clock, inshallah. I guess due to the rain, few brothers, people didn't show up. But without, letting that bring us down, inshallah, we'll carry on. As the brother reminded us all, Ramadan, alhamdulillah, we will manage to see one more Ramadan, and we reap the benefits, inshallah, of Ramadan. And we just want to quickly revisit Ramadan, how it was for us personally. So this is something you look up on yourself, look back on yourself and see your own achievements, visualize them or get in your mind whatever you want to do. But think back about the salahs you performed. So not just the 5 daily ones, but on top of that, you prayed 20 extra, 20. Have you ever done that in any other time of the year? 20. But on top of that, you went and for the last 10 days, inshallah, with the odd nights, you prayed another 8. So the increase in salah for us, alhamdulillah, for myself and inshallah and other brothers as well, it was a good thing. And we see ourselves, we're doing more Quran recitation. I know brothers, as he said, competed in the good deeds and who could finish the Quran first. One of our brothers raised the head and kind of finished it and left us all to shame. But other brothers went up to as far as chapter 15, 16. I was in chapter 2, but it was the effort, inshallah. But we saw that the turnouts, we went through Ramadan as well with these talks, and we saw the turnouts increase as well. We saw more brothers coming down, trying to make that change, trying to take the benefits of Ramadan. And you find yourself spending more time in the mosque. On top of that, you find yourself going to the mosque more often. There was an incident in the mosque, well, not an incident, but this is the day after Ramadan. And we see the brother at Fajr time turns around to another brother. He looks back and he goes, this is the Ramadan effect. Meaning, look how it's declined. So as soon as Ramadan finished, look how it fell. Because there were so many people even at Fajr. So many, there was like at least good 6 or 7 lines even in Fajr. Compared to what is today, like there's 2 lines. But this is the blessing of Ramadan. This is what Ramadan did for us. And we look back and inshallah we should see that, we put some effort. We put some effort, even those who look at themselves as the worst, or other people look at them as the worst, even they change. They might not fast or whatnot, but they cut down. Everyone makes a little change. Everyone, I've seen it. But the main point, or if you want to call it the main point of Ramadan, is the fasting. And how does this fasting help us? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. It makes you aware, it makes you conscious, it makes you understand that there is your Rabb, your Lord, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? Because for Him, for Allah, it's not that you gave up something haram, you gave up something that was halal. You gave up something that was halal for your Lord. So, fair enough, if someone says, I stopped drinking for Ramadan, fair enough, that's something haram. But Allah tells you to stop eating, stop drinking. Water, without water, we go 4 days without water, we end up dying. We gave that up for pretty much, how many hours was it? It was from 4 to about 9 at the beginning. More than 12 hours of no eating or drinking. This is what we strove for. We did in Ramadan. Why? Because we understood that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our creator, has told us to. and will inshallah reward us for this. But we find ourselves, as the brother said, you know, as soon as Ramadan finishes, many people end up either slowly fizzling out or just completely on Eid day just finish. That's it. That's their religiousness for the year done. Is finished. But you ask yourself, why? Why do people end up going back to the way they used to be? You ask yourself, if someone for a whole month can stay away from the things that they love, so waking up in the morning, you might want a glass of water, or you might want a cup of tea, you know, to wake you up, because I love my cup of tea, I need a cup of tea in the morning. But what will make a person give something up like that, but yet during normal hours, or if you want to call it normal hours, you can't stay away from alcohol, you can't pray? What drives a person to do this? And it comes down to the mindset. It comes down to that awareness, or you've created that awareness to Allah. There's many reasons why you've created that awareness during the month, and that link you have made during that month, and inshallah we'll go through it. But it's to do with the awareness, the thinking, the understanding that Allah, my creator, is up there and He will judge me for the actions that I'm doing. But we see that, you know, many Muslims have many excuses, you know, loads of excuses, creating a barrier in front of them. They created themselves. They blocked themselves from going forward. And we could look at some of these examples. For example, we have, you know, some people say, you know, they've done something, or they've done so much that is wrong, there is no change for them. I've heard this from a brother that I used to stay with. Alhamdulillah, now recently another mate saw him and he's changed. But when we used to first hang out, he used to literally make this statement. I used to say, so why do you drink, brother? Used to drink. Hey, why do you drink? And you say, what's the point? I'm gonna go hell anyway. That was literally, I'm gonna go hell. No, I've done too much. I'm gonna go hell anyway, so I'm gonna do it. But alhamdulillah, this brother has changed now. But this idea, you know, this idea is even tackled in the Quran, where Allah continuously tackles this in the Quran. The idea that, you know, we've committed something, or we've done something, we've done so much bad that there's no change for it. We're just gonna have to rely on the Day of Judgment. We're just gonna have to just go there, you know, and just sort it out that day. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continuously tells us in the Quran. This is just, I'm gonna give you just one, you know, in Al-Nisa 110. Yeah, yet he who does evil or otherwise sins against himself. So Allah is saying those who do the haram actions sins against themselves, and therefore thereafter prays and, you know, asks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness, shall find God much forgiving, a dispenser of grace. And this is just one. There are many. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continually talks about, where if you ask for forgiveness, if you pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah forgives you. But yet you have made a decision that Allah, who is telling you is going to forgive you, will not forgive you. And this is a barrier created by yourself. You've created that barrier. No one else. You put that up. And many brothers have that. But just one of our Sahabas, just want to quickly touch upon one of our Sahabas on this point. This is one I used when people say this, is, what have you done that is so bad? Have you tried to kill the Prophet? Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Have you tried to kill the Prophet? An-Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Have you? Anyone here? No. I doubt it. Umar bin al-Khattab was ready, sword drawn, going on his way to kill the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. But yet he is one of the chosen few who became leaders in the Muslim world. Who became leaders, from a man who was on his way to kill the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to becoming a leader of the Muslims. And a man promised Jannah. How can you have done something worse than try to kill the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then say I have no other choice. So this one. We move on. There's another one where people talk about, is linked to this sort of, that you need to be completely and almost angelic, almost like an angel. No haram whatsoever. No haram. I want to start practicing when I stop everything. I want to basically become sinless. That is impossible for a human being. That is impossible. There is no way a human being can be sinless. The only way the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Nabi of the past was sinless is because Allah made them sinless. Allah gave them that. But every other man, no matter who, man or woman, who this person is, has committed a sin. Has committed sin. This is. There's no disputing this within the Islamic thinking. For you to then say, "Oh, I need to be sinless to start practicing," you've just, it's just a contradiction to what Islam has said. Because why would Allah tell you to ask for forgiveness if you're going to be sinless? Doesn't make sense. Them two are slightly linked, but obviously there's a different understanding. But we talked about this mind frame. We talked about this creating this mind frame within Ramadan. And we asked ourselves why this mind frame is created. We asked ourselves, why do we get into this way of, going out and praying even though, we never prayed before? Or why we go out of the way to stay away from food even though we didn't do this before? If we look at the environment it creates straight away when Ramadan comes, the environment, meaning if you look around you, the people that you stayed with, or your family in general, or your work colleagues who are Muslim, your friends, you see that it's a change amongst everyone. So when you used to go out with your mates and maybe, just mess about, this time your mates went to the mosque, you should see that it was a collective change. It wasn't just an individual thing. And it wasn't just a collective amongst your friends, it was an entire ummah sort of change, where you saw the Muslims up and down the country change. No matter where you went, to Bangladesh, to Saudi Arabia, you saw the change. You saw people turn to Islam this month. And one point I'm trying to make here is the point about the company you keep. The company that, that follows you. When you go out in the month of Ramadan and you see everyone practicing, this, fair enough, it shouldn't be that because these people are practicing, I'm going to start practicing. But this is a way to help you better yourself. The Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam talked to this very briefly, talked about the company you keep, about the blacksmith. You must have heard this one. The blacksmith, if you stay with a blacksmith, you're going to have a smell of the smell of whatever blacksmith smell like. I'm not too sure what it is. Or you get singed on your clothes. What does this mean? Either you end up doing the bad things or you're stained by the things that they've done. You're stained by it. Either they've had an influence or you've come away from it with the singes on your clothes. And if you stay with someone who's from a fragrance shop or the mosque, you come away either smelling like musk, or you come away smelling like musk. What is the Nabi trying to say here is, like we explained about the blacksmith, the musk is the person that does good. The person that does good, as long as you stay with someone who does good, the only thing that you get off them is good. The only thing you get off them is good. And this is the change that happens in Ramadan. Those people that might have been in the blacksmith have come to the atar shop, and now everyone's smelling like atar. And this collective change helps us from the barrage of society and shayateen. And to ignore this will be your own downfall. If you cannot see that my friends or the people around me are affecting me, then you're at a loss. Because even the Nabi explains it. And even the Nabi goes through it. And this is to do with the mindset that was created. Where if you have a group of your friends who are doing something haram, that mindset won't be Islamic. It will be either you're going to either fall into the trap and commit the sin, or you're going to try your best and try to run away, and then if you continually go with them, that mindset, when you stay with them, I've seen it happen, it's happened to me, where the people you try to stay with, so you're trying to go out of, you're trying to get out of what they're doing or whatever's happening in that group, but every time you stay with them, you always end up falling for the trap. And that mindset that you get from the brothers that are practicing the deen, that they're always conscious about Allah. And that makes you conscious after seeing them. After seeing them, makes you conscious, makes you understand that, my purpose is for Allah. I'm always aware of Allah. And this is one of the reasons why we see a great change during the month of Ramadan, because it's a collective change. We see the ummah change. And thus, once it finishes, the ummah together leaves, and we see one by one people start fizzling out and end up going back to the way they used to be. And that leads us to, this thing about what is the correct change? How do you make this change? On what basis are you supposed to make this change? Is it just to the people that are around you? What happens when those people leave? This is mainly an emotional based change, where during the month of Ramadan we change, we see the atmosphere, and this gets us going, gives us, like we say that Ramadan is a stopover or a stop for us, a resting spot, and then a recharge, and off we go again for the rest of the year. Same way, we cannot let it be an emotional thing where we hear a good talk and we feel it. We need to come to understand that with clarity and certainty that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exists. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exists, there's no denying that. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us a purpose, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us a way. One by purpose of our existence, and a way that the way to happiness, or true happiness. Happiness in the sense of, Jannah, and not just a temporary happiness, but an actual fulfillment of desires. If I'm being too technical, what I mean by true fulfillment of desires, when we have things like, sometimes we look around us and we see people going out, we see people clubbing and or having, Friday night is almost impossible to walk down Old Street. That's near where I live, Old Street. It's almost impossible. You see them going out and you think, they're all happy, laughing and getting drunk, but is that true happiness? Does that last? That finishes that Friday, and then you're done. You either wake up with a hangover and you're broke, and you have to wait for the whole month. I've seen this within the people that go out and drink, even within the Muslims and the non-Muslims. They blow the entire money on that one night, looking for what? Happiness, looking for that fulfillment, looking for something that gives them that emotional buzz. But back to the main point about the change coming from emotion. When you change on just that emotion of yes, that ayah really got that buzz with everyone is practicing, you go out for a thingy. When you change for an emotion, so Islam makes you happy now. But then you go for a difficult period. and you're not too happy anymore. You're going through difficulty. When you hate something, what happens? So if you have a sweater, a nice, I don't know, say make. Anyone know he makes? Make.
Hollister.
Sorry?
Hollister.
Whatever he said, yeah, I can't hear it. Anyway, that's a good make, yeah, the one he said. Imagine he gets a hole in it. You don't like it anymore. What do you do with it? You get rid of it. You give it away. You stop wearing it. Or what I did, start cleaning stuff with it. This is what you do. When you like something and then you don't like it anymore, you stop wearing it, or you stop going to that. Or it's like a video game. You play a video game, you play, you get bored, what do you do with it? You go buy a new video game. Same with movies, music, anything you look at. Once we get bored or once we get upset with something, we put it away. Same way, when we come to Islam through an emotion, it makes me happy. Once we're upset, what we're going to do, we're going to just put it to the side. And we're going to look for something else that makes us happy. And this has happened many times. So it cannot be on the basis of happiness. It needs to be on the basis of, we say, rational understanding. A basis on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exists. He has given us purpose of life, reason why we exist, and how to fulfill or get that true happiness. When we come to this understanding, this is very brief. This understanding is very brief. This is a topic in itself, I have to say. This how to come to Islam is a topic on its own. When you start understanding, when you think about it constantly, when you go through it and you're convinced that the reason why I'm here is to serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, your actions will be linked to that. So if you're here to earn money, if that's your basis, then you will see yourself doing actions to earn the money. When you have that basis, that thinking that I'm here to please Allah, that is it. There is nothing else to it. That's it. That's the bottom line. There's nothing more to it. And what Allah is pleased with, I will do. You will see your actions will start changing towards pleasing Allah. So when you face a challenge, it could be as something simple as, someone selling something and it's stolen, to something big, like, interest. That decision will be made not based on your benefit or what you look or profit or pleasing someone, but if it's to please Allah, you make that choice depending on what Allah has told you. So these are some of the points, these are some of the issues that people raise, and these are some of the ways we could come back and we could look at Islam. And we could come, not just for Ramadan period, but we go on, we move on. We extend that period of worship far past Ramadan and implement into our entire lives. Some of these barriers, we put it up ourselves, we need to destroy by actually thinking, discussing, reading, looking, watching, maybe going out, watching some talks, reading something, speaking to brothers. But Ramadan isn't the only period that gives us some sort of that energy or the energy or battery or refill. There are many throughout the year we could utilize, but we don't utilize as much as Ramadan, obviously, because Ramadan has it has a special impact to it, inshallah. It has a special blessing to it. There are many others where there is one that occurs weekly. Who could tell me the one that occurs weekly? The benefit, the day.
Friday.
Hold on. Yawmul Jum'ah. This is a very merciful day. Yawmul Jum'ah. This is a very merciful day. Again, that one, you could talk about Yawmul Jum'ah and the talk itself. That comes every week. Every week it comes. Every Friday. What do we do every Friday? What are we doing? This is a question, don't answer. You question yourself. This is a very blessed day. What do I do this Friday? Do I go visit my family? Do I go strengthen those bonds? that Allah has told us never to break? Do I read Quran? Or do I just pray, run to work, come home and relax? You know, Yawmul Jumu'ah comes every week. Do we utilize that every week? The other, you might obviously know, is the 6th of Shawwal. Inshallah, you will fast. You know, this the month of Shawwal is right now. Well, from what I know, it's talked about the 6th of Shawwal is equivalent to, I think, what was it? 60. Or if you fast the Ramadan fast and the Shawwal is like a whole year. It's like a whole year, and the 6 doesn't have to be consecutive. One day, I don't know, 2 days a week, or no, you can't do 2 days. I think you should be right. 3 days, 6 fasts is not much. You went for 30. You could do 6 now. This is also an energizer. You know, you fast. It brings that remembrance, and it gives you that a whole year's worth of fasting. Others like Hajj, going to Hajj, fasting on the day of Arafah, you know, fasting on Mondays and Thursdays. That one I've been trying to get into, you know, my routine for many months now, and I find it so hard. I'm trying to get that into, make dua for me, inshallah, brothers, so I could get that into my routine, Mondays and Thursdays. Fasting on Ashura, the sacred month of Shaiban, and there are many more. And these as a Muslim, we should utilize each one of these to energize or to give ourselves that motivation to carry on. This should be a reminder to us on, you know, how to, or it should be a reminder to us to carry on practicing the deen throughout the year, through our entire life. We shouldn't rely on just Ramadan. But we talked about the environment before, or the surroundings, and you know, we should never we should never underestimate the problem we face living in the West. There is nothing Islamic about what we live in. Nothing. From the amount of bars there are more bars in my area than there are churches. There are more strip clubs in that area than there are churches. And that's the reality we live in. They have a whole entire area where this stuff goes on. And this is what we are faced with every day. We go out, we see billboards, we see advertisements, the songs, the music that are fed to through the TVs, the radios. Listen to some of the lyrics. Most people, I was speaking to one brother, and we spoke about, why do you listen to this? And he's like, I like the music. I'm like, have you heard what the person is saying? And it's some of the most grotesque things you could, you know, is the guy is singing about. He's like, no, I didn't. I'm not even listening to the words. He's just listening to the music. Brother, seriously, really think about it. Listen to what he's saying. But he didn't have a problem with what he was saying. After he heard, he didn't have a problem. But this is what we go through. We go through this every day. From when we go outside to when we come home, we see this every day. And again, not just on that basis, on the other side, where we're not living in an Islamic society where the adhan is called out loud, so we get that reminder. Because that's a blessing on yourself, to have the adhan played out loud. I don't know how many people, you know, in Bangladesh or to wherever country you come from, the Muslim countries, and you hear the adhan, it reminds you straight away. And you feel it. It's like, you don't need to watch, you don't need to conclude. You know it's there, you go to it. But we should never underestimate the mercy that inshallah Allah will, you know, bestow upon us for putting us through this trial. And it is a trial. Every day is a trial. You know, the norm of society is to have a girlfriend. The norm, this is the norm. And once you go against the norm, you're weird. So probably everyone in here is weird. But yet we choose to go against the norm. We choose to go against what is normal pretty much everywhere in the world. And we've decided this because we understand that our Rabb has told us to do something. And we should never underestimate, the mercy that Allah, inshallah, will bestow upon us, and the dua we should make every day. Ya Allah, forgive us. Because we will sin no matter where we go within this, where we are. I just want to, end it with a quick reminder, a quick story of a guy. He used to go out. He used to pretty much do every single sort of drugs. It was, he used to smoke, he used to sniff. He pretty much did everything. He used to drink. He never fasted. In the month of Ramadan, he wouldn't not forget breaking. He'll be smoking weed during the month of Ramadan. He didn't care about halal or haram, even on food. Even some people, some people like some people come out of clubs. I've seen this is very funny. Yeah, I always found this funny. They'll come out of clubs, but they won't eat haram food. Nah, it has to be the halal chicken shop. I never understood that. I never understood it. Like, it has to be the halal chicken. But that's something actually, when I think about it, it's something good. You might say why, at least there's that inclination. That inclination towards Islam. That's something I can't do. That's a step too far. But this guy didn't have this. This guy didn't have this. You eat whatever he needs to. Bacon, pork, anything. Dropped out from school. Never cared about that. Sold drugs. He pretty much wasted his teen years. Just messing about, just, dossing about, just hanging in street corners, meeting the wrong sort of people, getting arrested. Shall we carry on? Sounds pretty dangerous, might have to go out and help. Okay, anyway, so this guy, really never looked to Islam for any solution. Never pretty much, people used to go and pray. One of his mates used to always tell him to constantly pray. Used to just ignore it. Pretty much came to a point where he did not care. He never even, anything he said, you just, yeah, just nod, like, just the nodding period, just nod, get over and done with. But yeah, when it came down to it, and there was no one to turn to, his brother made dua for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to remove all the obstacles in his way so he can start practicing the deen. And what do you know, one by one, those obstacles moved. His friends he used to hang around with and smoke weed, one by one disappeared, started doing their own things. The people he used to go out clubbing with, slowly one by one disappeared. The more he did dua, the more he asked to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help him, the more he saw himself change. He changed to a point where, inshallah, may Allah forgive him, he sits here today and gives you this talk. For those people who say there is never any hope, never any chance, they're wrong. There is no one greater than Allah, and if you need any help on anything, there is no one but Allah to turn to. And once you realize that, you know, as they say, the sky's the limit. Inshallah, I'd like to end it with that. Jazakallah khair for this one.